Thank you, Matt. Well, after years of waiting, Election Day is finally here, and voters who haven't cast their ballots early are heading to the polls right now. CBS's Christian Benavides is in Atlanta with the very latest.
Across the country, Americans are exercising their right to vote.
I want my vote counted, and so that's why I'm out at 7 o'clock in the morning.
The most important thing we have is to vote.
The latest CBS News polls show Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump basically tied in 7 key battleground states.
If you were on the fence, you hadn't really been paying attention.
Think of it. This is it. This is the last one that we're going to have to do.
Trump will cast his own vote in Florida today, while running mate J.D. Vance voted this morning in his home state of Ohio.
I feel good. You never know until you know, but I feel good about this race.
Harris already mailed in her ballot.
It is time for a new generation of leadership in America.
More than 81 million Americans have already cast their ballot before Election Day. Here in Georgia, they saw record early voting turnout. Many voters are ready to put an end to the tumultuous campaign cycle.
Once the votes are cleared, we can I feel like everybody can kind of move forward, because I feel like a lot of people stop.
Whoever wins, we're all Americans, so yeah, got to support them.
Trump and his running mate will ride out the night at Mar-a-Lago, while Harris and her VP pick will be at her alma mater, Howard University in Washington, D.C. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Atlanta.
Across the country, there are a lot of eyes in Ohio and its race for U.S. Senate. Incumbent Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown and his challenger, Republican Bernie Moreno, hit the campaign trail hard yesterday. Brown joining former President Bill Clinton in Cleveland, while Moreno made campaign stops in southern and central Ohio.
This is going to come down to a few thousand votes, and every vote here in Licking County helps offset a vote to your western neighbors. You know what I'm talking about.
When you look at all we've done, all Joyce and I and others have done in these 4 years, we're going to win in November. Come January, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Well, more than $400 million has already been spent on this Senate race, according to Ad Impact, making it the most expensive Senate race in U.S. history. Well, it's easy to see why the race between Brown and Moreno is attracting so much attention from both parties. Whomever wins this race could decide which party has control of the U.S. Senate. Currently, Democrats have 51 seats and Republicans have 49. A political science expert from UToledo tells us both candidates have their appealing qualities to voters. He says Brown has been a popular senator for close to 18 years.
He's had an opportunity to work with a lot of different groups in the state, with industry, with unions, with farmers. He's pro-choice, and abortion is one of the key issues in the race. So those things probably are keeping him closer.
But Nelson says Brown will need voters who are ticket splitters, meaning they'll vote for him even if they vote for Trump for president. And he says Moreno's advantages closely aligned to those of former President Trump, and that he's not a professional politician.
This is the first race he's ever run. This is something new.
Nelson says control of the U.S. Senate could also be decided in Michigan, Nebraska, and Wisconsin today. Well, another big race is Ohio's 9th congressional race between incumbent Marcy Kaptur and current state representative Republican Derek Merrin. Kaptur has represented the district since 1983 and is the longest serving woman in Congress. Meanwhile, Merrin is in his 4th term as a state representative. Before that, he served as the mayor of Waterville. And the future of Ohio's district maps is in the hands of voters. Issue 1 is an initiative to create a commission of 15 citizens to draw district maps. Right now, the General Assembly draws congressional maps, and the Ohio Redistricting Commission draws state legislative districts. 5 independents, 5 Republicans, and 5 Democrats, chosen by 4 retired judges, would draw Ohio's districts if Issue 1 is approved. We are continuing live coverage at local polling locations this afternoon and making sure you have everything you need as you head out the door to cast your vote. Maya May joins us live from the Kent Branch Library in central Toledo. So Maya, we know it was very busy all morning long when you were out there. Turnout looks great too as well right now.
That's right, Tim. We've seen great voter turnout here today, and we now know at least 40% of eligible voters have already cast their ballots. Now you can see here at the polls right behind me, it is still currently a busy place to vote. According to the Board of Elections live results, Lucas County has seen an average of 10,000 voters each hour so far. I spoke with the director of the Board of Elections, Lavera Scott, just moments ago. She says her staff is trained. If any issues arise, she believes they are prepared for any inconvenience. Because of the number of voters out this morning and this afternoon, Scott says trained backup polling workers were called in for support, but no major issues have been reported so far. Scott says to cut down on long lines, she encourages voters to be pre-read on the sample ballot and be informed on the issues and the candidates ahead of time.
Take the time to go to our website and look at your sample ballot before you get to the polling location, because several of the issues are very lengthy. And what we found that when people were voting earlier here, that was one of the things that took people more time. Because if you want to read, every page of the issues, you're going to want to make sure that you allow yourself enough time to do that.
The official end of voting is at 7:30 tonight, but as long as you are in line before the polls close, your vote will still count. For now, I'm Maya May reporting live in Central Toledo for WTOL 11.
Maya, thanks so much. Well, if you are voting by absentee ballot, but you didn't get it in the mail in time, you can still make it count today. You have until polls close at 7:30 tonight to turn that ballot in a drop box at your county board of elections. And here is how the early in-person voting numbers turned out in Lucas County. Ohio's voting dashboard says so far 83% of the ballots requested have been filled out and returned. In all, more than 50,000 ballots have been cast for early voting. More than 35,000 absentee ballots were requested, with almost 30,000 returned so far. Well, many Wood County voters, meanwhile, also voted early. The latest numbers show 85% of voters have returned their ballots, with more than 20,000 in-person early votes being cast leading up to Election Day. More than 11,000 absentee ballots were requested, and as of early this afternoon, more than 9,000 have been returned. On this election day, if there are any Lucas and Northern Wood County voters who are looking for a ride to the polls, our Tatiana Cash spoke with two local organizations about a free ride to the polls.
Anyone who still needs a ride to the polls should just call the number right there at the bottom of your screen. It's 419-VOTE-NOW, and you'll be able to schedule a ride to your polling location. And don't worry if no one answers immediately. Leave a message and someone should call you back shortly. From the Toledo Jobs with Justice and the Interfaith Worker Justice Coalition, these two organizations have been offering free rides for 2 decades. Toledo Area Jobs with Justice's Bob Lynn says this year they have 55 volunteers to take anyone to the polls. And the free trip actually gets you a pickup from any location and then a ride to your polling place so you can vote. And then you can be dropped off at your original spot or another location of your choosing. And again, this is all free of charge. Studies have shown one of the biggest barriers for voters is transportation. And it's why Toledo Jobs with Justice and the Interfaith Worker Justice Coalition teamed up back in 2004 to make sure anyone who needs a ride gets one.
First thing we do is actually check to make sure you're registered so that you don't have any issues and that you have ID to be able to go and vote, because those are the rules here in Ohio. After we do that, once we determine that you are registered, then we line up a driver to be able to take you to go and vote.
Now, in addition to Toledo Jobs with Justice and the Interfaith Worker Coalition offering free rides, if you'd like to catch the bus instead, TARTA is offering free rides all day for all the public transit services. So this is the fixed bus routes, paratransit, as well as TARTA Flex. Now, to find out which bus gets you to your polling location, go ahead and visit our website and look under the links mentioned tab for more information. In studio, Tatiana Cash, WTOL 11.
Well, there are so many races to be ready for when you go to your polling place today, and WTOL 11 wants to help you be informed when you do go out. We have an entire election guide on our website with all the issues and candidates you'll see on your ballot. Just go to WTOL.com.